There's a kind of heaviness that creeps in, not from doing too much, but from doing nothing. You know the moment when you stare at the task, the goal, the next step, and freeze. Not because it's impossible, but because you haven't moved. And the longer you wait, the heavier it feels, like quicksand for the mind. I've been there too, sitting with the weight of good intentions and unmet goals. Not because I lacked time or talent, but because I kept waiting to feel like it. The Stoics understood this human tendency to delay. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." It's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up, to remind you that you don't have time to wait for perfect conditions, because they never come. This is a video about action, not just any action, but the kind that drags you out of inertia, even when you don't feel ready. Over the next few minutes, you'll learn 7 Stoic strategies that don't just sound wise. They're designed to get you moving, each one grounded in ancient philosophy, but made for modern life. You're here because something in you wants change. Maybe a nudge, maybe a push. Before we continue, take a moment to subscribe if these ideas already resonate. No hype, no noise, just calm insight and tools for taking back control of your life. Because this is what Stoicism gives you. Not comfort, but clarity. Not escape, but movement. Let's begin. Number 1, you're not promised. Later. How many things have you told yourself you'll start tomorrow, or next week, or when you finally feel ready? The truth is, most people don't procrastinate because they're lazy. They wait because they think they have time, but that's the illusion. Epictetus warned, "How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself?" He didn't say that with cruelty. He said it because he understood human nature. We act as if we've been promised decades, as if delay has no cost. But every moment you hesitate, life moves forward, with or without you. When you postpone action, you aren't conserving energy. You're draining it through rumination, guilt, and self-doubt. You think you're buying time, but you're spending your courage. I've felt this in my own life, telling myself, I'll begin when it's calmer, when I've got more clarity. But clarity doesn't come from waiting, it comes from moving. Imagine a ripe fruit on a branch. It doesn't stay perfect forever. Wait too long, and it softens, spoils, falls. Ideas are like that. The desire to act has a shelf life. If you wait too long, even good goals rot in your hands. So start, not because everything is ready, but because you are alive. Let me ask you, what are you postponing that time won't give back? Don't wait for more signs. This is it. This moment, messy, imperfect, this is your beginning. Number 2, action is the antidote to anxiety. There's a certain kind of fear that doesn't shout, it whispers. It circles quietly in your chest. A restlessness, a hesitation, a story your mind keeps telling itself. Most of the time, it's not the task that overwhelms you. It's the thinking about the task, planning it, predicting it, dreading it. Your mind runs ahead, imagines all the things that could go wrong, and so you freeze. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." It's not life that overwhelms you. It's the phantom version of life that you keep replaying in your head. The solution, the Stoics believed, is not to overanalyze. It's to move. You don't need to conquer the entire mountain. Just take one step. Just begin. I've noticed that some of my worst moments of anxiety didn't come from failure. They came from sitting still, from knowing what needed to be done and choosing not to. Inaction feeds fear, but once you start, even slowly, the fear loses its grip. It's like fog. From a distance, it looks thick, impenetrable, but as you walk forward step by step, it clears, The path was always there. You just had to move through it. So ask yourself, what fear are you nursing by staying still? And how much smaller would it feel if you simply started? Don't wait to feel ready. Let your feet lead your mind, because every action, no matter how small, is a statement. I am not afraid to try. Number 3, start with the first pebble, not the whole mountain. Sometimes what paralyzes you isn't fear or laziness or doubt, it's scale. You look at the entire mountain you have to climb, the massive project, the long journey, the overwhelming change, and your mind shuts down. I've felt this myself, the pressure to do everything perfectly all at once. And when I couldn't, I did nothing. But that's where Stoicism helps you breathe again. Musonius Rufus taught that progress begins with motion, not mastery, not with knowing the whole path, but with taking the first step. In his teachings, there's no obsession with speed or outcome, only movement. The Stoics understood that momentum comes from simplicity. Start where you are, with what you have, even if it's small, especially if it's small. Imagine trying to move a boulder. If you look at the weight, the size, it feels impossible. But what if you just placed a single pebble under one edge? Not enough to move it, but enough to begin. Enough to shift something inside you. Your first step doesn't have to be impressive. It just has to be real. A 5-minute start, a single sentence written, a phone call made, something that interrupts the cycle of overthinking and replaces it with evidence. Evidence that you are not stuck. So, are you really overwhelmed? Or are you just trying to do too much at once? Forget the mountain. Start with the pebble. That's all Stoicism ever asked of you. Not perfection, just the courage to begin. Number 4, discomfort is a sign you're growing. There's a voice inside you that says, this doesn't feel good, so maybe I shouldn't do it. And over time, that voice becomes the compass. If it's hard, if it's awkward, if it stretches you, you back away. But here's the thing, the Stoics didn't avoid discomfort. They saw it as a teacher. Seneca believed that the person who seeks comfort avoids strength. That struggle, strain, and resistance weren't signs you were failing, but signs you were becoming more resilient, more stable, more you. I've felt the sting of discomfort, the nerves before a conversation I didn't want to have, the silence before publishing something vulnerable, the pressure of stepping into uncertainty, and it never felt right at first. But every time I leaned into it, not away, I grew. Discomfort is nature's way of sculpting you. Think of a seed. It must split, crack open, and push through the darkness of soil to become a tree. No part of that process looks pleasant, but without it, there is no life. So what are you avoiding right now because it feels uncomfortable? And how might facing it with courage shape you into someone stronger? Growth doesn't whisper, it pushes. And the moment you begin to feel that internal resistance, that's not a red flag, that's your signal. You've reached the edge of who you were, and just beyond it is who you could be. Lean in, don't run. The Stoics didn't seek pain, but they trusted it. They knew discomfort wasn't a warning, it was a forge. Number 5, let go of needing to feel ready. There's a quiet lie we tell ourselves. I'll act when I feel ready. And so we wait. We wait for confidence and clarity, certainty. But what if I told you, readiness isn't a prerequisite, it's a result. The Stoics knew this. They didn't believe in waiting for some ideal internal state. They believed that action creates readiness, that courage isn't something you feel before you act. It's something you discover because you acted. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck. Instead of collapsing into fear or hesitation, he turned the loss into a beginning. He didn't wait to feel prepared. He moved, and the philosophy he later founded came from that motion. I've seen this in my own life too. The things I thought I couldn't do until I simply started. The script I didn't feel qualified to write. The challenge I didn't feel strong enough to face. The moment I began, the illusion shattered. Not because the fear vanished, but because I stopped giving it permission to lead. Think of fire. It doesn't wait for dry wood. It makes it burn. Action doesn't require ideal conditions. It creates them. So ask yourself, how often has readiness only arrived after you moved? You don't need more time. You need less hesitation. The voice that says, "not yet," will never go silent, but you don't have to obey it. Start where you are. Wobbly, unsure, imperfect, and trust this. The act of beginning is your signal of readiness. Number 6, focus only on what you control. One of the most paralyzing things in life is trying to take action while your mind spins with what ifs. What if it doesn't work? What if they don't like it? What if I fail and everyone sees? That mental spiral, it steals your strength before you even begin. But the Stoics had a clear answer to this. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. Epictetus taught that some things are up to us. Our choices, our effort, our character, and everything else isn't. And when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you free up energy to move forward with focus, not fear. I've experienced this shift myself. There were moments I was frozen, obsessing over outcomes I couldn't predict, approval I couldn't guarantee, timing I couldn't master. And in that mental storm, action felt impossible. But once I asked, what part of this is mine to own? I could finally move. Maybe not fast, but free. Think of sailing. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sail. You can trim it, turn it, respond to what the sea gives you. That's all Stoicism ever required. Steady hands on your own rope, not the sky above. So let me ask you, are you holding back because you're afraid of the result? Or because you've forgotten that the result isn't your job? Your job is the effort. Your job is the next step. Your job is the sail. Let the wind do what it will. You just steer. Number 7, define yourself by what you do, not what you think. You may have 1,000 thoughts a day, ideas, plans, dreams, intentions. But here's the hard truth. The world doesn't see what you meant to do. It only sees what you did. The Stoics were painfully honest about this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Not just believe or reflect, but be. In your mind, you might already be disciplined, ambitious, strong. But until those thoughts become actions, they don't shape your life or your identity. I've fallen into this trap too, telling myself I'm the kind of person who works hard, who finishes things. But then days passed, and the work didn't get done. And eventually, I had to ask myself, am I who I say I am? Or am I what I do? Identity isn't built in the mind. It's built in movement. Picture a sculptor. He doesn't just imagine the statue, he carves it, stroke by stroke, day by day, until the shape of something greater reveals itself. That's you. That's all of us. Shaped not by belief, but by behavior. So, if someone could only see your actions, no inner monologue, no promises, no self-narration, what would they believe about who you are? Don't live in the shadow of potential. Turn that potential into reality. The Stoics didn't chase perfection, they just acted, quietly, consistently, and without applause. That's where character is forged, not in thought, but in effort. Final reflection, the cost of not acting. You started this journey with a quiet weight, that inner ache of knowing what needs to be done, and yet not doing it. That silent gap between intention and action. a space where many of us live for far too long. But here's the truth the Stoics never let us forget. Inaction is not neutral. It's not passive. It costs you. It drains your confidence, clouds your mind, dulls your spirit. Every day you don't act, something erodes. Not just opportunities, but trust in yourself. Epictetus didn't sugarcoat it. He believed that freedom comes from discipline, and discipline begins in motion, no matter how small. You can't think your way into becoming. You do your way there. And if you don't, what then? That idea that excites you, it fades. That change you crave, it calcifies into regret. That identity you could have built, it stays imagined, not lived. But it doesn't have to end like that. You have a chance, right now, to step into the life you've been circling. You don't need more time, or more planning, or more approval. You need movement, stoic movement, deliberate, present, anchored in now. So if this resonated, stay close. Subscribe, not just to the channel, but to a life of motion, of small daily steps toward who you want to become, because you already know the pain of waiting. Now, let yourself feel the freedom of moving.